steal the words of the boss for just a moment, just sitting back and trying to recapture a little of the old glory of, well, sometimes slips away and leaves you with nothing, mister, but boring stories of glory days. Now, if you guys would just play along with me here for a minute, kind of close your eyes and just take a second to reflect. Think back on, what were your glory days? What is it that you remember about a certain event or a certain time or a certain place in your life that you think back on and pull your boring old stories, if you will, to talk with your friends about? Or what stories or events in your life are you going to tell your kids or your grandkids when you get better or when you get a little bit older? Whether that's being a sports, achieving in sports in high school or achieving in sports in college, or maybe that was the time in life when you were raising your kids for the pretty short 16, 18 years that they're with us while we're raising them. Where were your glory days? At what point in time? Obviously, that's going to be a little bit different for all of us. It's obviously just a little bit relative. There's just coming out of high school, I'm sure their glory days are going to be a little bit of the last several years of going through high school. Maybe for others of us, it's going to be the time with our children. If we're older, some of the things we did. When I was younger, as I'm sure a lot of us did, we probably had initially dreams of our glory days and stories being about our time as professional ball players, whether that was baseball or football or other things. But I don't know about you guys, it certainly didn't come to fruition for me. But the point was, we wanted those things not so much because we wanted to be the greatest baseball player, the greatest football player ever, but we wanted to achieve something. We wanted to be recognized for something. Everybody has the desire to do something great. And that's kind of what, in our opinion, or my opinion, what the glory days are all about, is your opportunity to have done something great. And that relates very well to why we're here tonight, and what is Lara, and what is it that we're doing. I can't speak for all of you guys, but I can tell you that when I'm old and gray and sitting around telling my boring stories, it will certainly involve the time that me and the other folks and the folks in this community came together and helped do something great, achieve something, make this a little bit better place for those that come after us, and things like the Jack Jones Memorial Complex. So that's why we're here, is to discuss with you guys, give you an update on what's been going on, and talk a little bit about the opportunity that we have here in front of us. And I want to put a little bit of emphasis on the word we. When I say we, I don't mean myself and Scott and Mike and Dave and Ray, Kevin. I don't mean we as in Lara, but I mean we as in this community. There are certainly some of you here tonight that have just as much to do with helping with what we're going to talk about here as we do in helping kind of just organize and bring things to fruition. So keep that in mind as we go through this tonight, in that, when we talk about we certainly mean we as a community, because this is a community project that we're here to talk about. This is a board of directors running an organization that is for us, for we, the community. It's not for ourselves. It's not directly our goals. This is something the community wanted and asked us to get together and spearhead doing it, but continue working with the community. And so far it's been absolutely phenomenal, the support we've received from. So just keep that in mind. I think it's very important, when we talk about it, that you keep in mind it is you and us that make up the we in the community. So if you haven't heard of Lara or the Lakeview Recreation Association before, this is the association that we formed to develop the Jack Jones Memorial Complex. As it stands today, Lakeview Area Recreation Association is an actual 501c3 Pennsylvania nonprofit company, which is a whole lot of abbreviations. That means you can have a tax deduction if you make a donation. But it does also afford us the ability to go after some state monies and things like that as well. So we recognized very early on that it was probably important to not just get together as a group and a community group of persons, but to actually form something, form an entity, make an association or a business out of this, because there was more potential funding sources, there was more potential tax relief and things like that would go along with being a business. The original idea came from simply that the need for and the desire for the community to build the Jack Jones Memorial Complex. It wasn't certainly our original idea. It goes as far back as, I believe, 1985 was when Mr. Jones originally wrote it into his will that he would leave that property to the Little League so that they could develop an additional sports complex. So we don't take credit for the idea, but it was an original group of persons from within the Little League, volunteers and coaches and managers, that said, hey, you know what, we need somebody to concentrate on this. We need a group to take this and kind of run with it. The Little League does a good job running the Little League, but just didn't have the persons or the capacity or the time of those groups of people to also try to build a project or build a park like this. So as we got together initially in the beginning and decided what to do and how to kind of put this together, we realized very quickly that some of the things were going to be beneficial to us to become a business, to become a nonprofit organization. But ultimately, the goal was that we kind of had a mission in mind. And the reason we came to this conclusion was we said, you know, if we're going to go through all the trouble that it's apparent that we're going to have to go through and in getting ready for just the Jack Jones Memorial Complex, why should we just throw that out or be done with it when the Jack Jones Complex is done? We said, why don't we start this with the intention that it could continue after the Jack Jones Memorial Complex. Somebody else could continue to step into the roles of operating the association from the board perspective, but have it live on and continue to bring and possibly benefit things here in the local Lakeview area. So that's our mission statement at Lara. And under that, as defined within our bylaws and what we told people like the IRS and the Pennsylvania state government was our goals under that mission were to provide recreational facilities such as the sports complex to the community of the Lakeview School District, improve and expand on existing parks and recreational facilities if such a time in the future that would come about, to protect and advance greenways as well as natural and heritage resources within the Lakeview area, to lessen the burden of local government municipalities by collaborating and helping them to create and improve recreational activities within the Lakeview community, which is something we'll talk a little bit more about. To erect or maintain public buildings and facilities within the public recreational parks that we may create. So in other words, potential rec center down the road or indoor practice facility, whatever that might be. But we put all these down in the very beginning that these are the sort of things that we would like to achieve under the Lara mission. And then obviously this is a little bit wordy for the IRS benefit with the lessen neighborhood tensions. You know, basically let's give our kids and the youth, and not even just the youth, the people of the community, a place to go have recreational activities and do these sorts of things and keep them from getting into trouble or doing other things. So who exactly is running and operating Lara? Again, back to when we got started with this, we took a look at, all right, what hasn't worked before? The community's wanted the Jack Jones Memorial Complex for some time, and why isn't it here? And the problem was that we believed at the time that it was such a small group of people trying to accomplish it, it was too much for that small of a group to handle. And we realized very quickly that we needed to go to the community and make this a community project, not a Little League project or a certain entity project. And then we also recognized that it needed to be broken down into more manageable pieces. You couldn't have one group or one person's concentrating on the entire project because within the project there's many things that need to be done. And what we said was, what would apply to this and then other projects in the future is let's break this thing down into more manageable pieces. Pieces that came out of those discussions were construction is obviously a piece that is a specialty unto itself, and that would be a part. Grants and going after grant funding from the state or other sources was something that was its own unique thing that could be separated from everything else. Continuous fundraising. Obviously, you need some funding to be able to operate as any association, even as simple as ours. We need insurances and things in the event something would happen. So we need fundraising to augment that and allow us to operate the association. Corporate donations we saw as a need because obviously it's not just the citizens, but the citizens and the business citizens within the community that are going to help bring something like this to fruition. So we needed a group to concentrate on going and talking to those businesses and trying to find mutually agreeable terms that they could potentially make some donations and reward for some potential advertisement. In-kind services donations, those kind of come part and parcel to the corporate donations, but basically one means monetary value and the other means service value. And lastly, public relations. Obviously, starting off picking up a project that has been around for a while and hasn't gained